Hello and welcome to how I play my level 90 wizard. Now, if you've watched the previous videos, it's this one builds off of that, but I've kind of changed some things up, and we're currently all in the House of Thule tier 4 gear. Like I said, I shared whatever the stuff is from my persona with my mage, so it's the same stuff. So. There's some interestingness that I've changed up, and we're going to talk about it. So first up, we got Twin Cast. This spell is never going to leave my bar as far as I know. This just allows us to twin cast our spells, i.e. cast it twice from a single cast. Next up, I have Ethereal Glacification, and this is the cold nuke currently. This is level 89 one. It's a 1.9 second cast time, so I feel that's fast enough for the way I play. But it does 12,000 damage. Now, I believe we had we were using the Glacial Claw, I believe, before, like that line of spells. Now it's a 1.2 cast for like no damage. Now this is, a significant mana difference, but I'm not concerned about mana at this point. So next up, I have Thrice Woven Electricity. This is the level 90 Thrice line of spells. I don't even know what the name of this line is, but this weaves a bolt of crackling energy, dealing 7,200 damage, and there's a chance that it'll increase the damage of the next spell. So I feel like this is still the way to go, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I like it in my rotation right now. Now, I currently have Concussive Flash memorized, but in the last bit, I've removed it from my actual rotation. Now, I could keep it in there, but I just felt like it was not worth it. We did pick up an AA version that does the AA, does it via AA, right? I don't even have the right one memorized because I've stopped using it, but this kind of does the same thing. It's on a 1 minute duration, so it is a 1 minute recast, so it kind of saves it. I don't need it in single target. I don't need the evade, really. My Shadow Knight is able to keep aggro without much effort. It's only on AA where I need any kind of evade, and AE, that is, and I don't have one, so it is what it is. So then after that, I don't cast anymore, but I still have it at that slot saved just in case something comes up where I want to put it back there. Next up, I have Ethereal Inferno, which is the current level fire nuke. Now this one's huge mana, huge damage, and it's a relatively fast 2 second cast time. And I think before we had the chaos one that was doing way less damage and stuff like that, but I mean, it's 110. What? I did 110 damage. What? Oh, so I criticaled for 84,000 and then I twin casted for 26,000. So that's kind of why I moved to these. These are higher damage. They're not as slow. They used to be 8 seconds or 6 seconds. They were long casting nukes. And now they're much faster casting nukes. Still huge mana, but mana, it's not something I'm really concerned about right now. So that's the bread and butter of my single target stuff that I got going on. Now, I don't really do the AE yet because I still have not... I do not have a good, way to avoid AE, getting destroyed instantly, right? Typically, it's, whenever the Shadow Knight has his AoEs up, his AoE taunts, I'll do it and make sure that's going. But putting these in the rotation, I think last video, in the level 85 video, we had the previous version of Beam of Permafrost. Now that spell is awesome. It's this one here. Let me see what the previous one does, because it is. Yeah, I think it was Funnel of Frigidity. Funnel of something. Frigidity. It's about the same, right? It's 1,000 damage more, hits 12 enemies. So it's everything in front of me. It's insta cast, right? And everything that was within range of that got hit. Now, definitely worth having in an AoE rotation, but I can't not die when I cast it. So still a work in progress here. And then I have Blazing Pillar, which is just a targeted AoE, 4 creatures, 2800 damage. Then I have the current level point blank AoE fire AoE. I just have that in there. If I could use it, I would. I can't conceivably cast it at the moment without dying. Like, it's very hard for me to hold aggro and have this in a multi-bind, like, you know, kind of situation. Now, the beam shares a timer with the funnel here, timer 2, so I can't use them both at the same time. There's only one beam, but it is a kind of a nice spell, right? Like, you can see there, it just hit like everything over there. It's nice. Now, once I get more comfortable with how I can AoE taunt and get that in there, it might be something worth using, or maybe have it on a separate button. Because currently I have 4 and 5 as his multicast buttons. Maybe if I move that to a different button so that it's AoE on one and non-AoE on the other, that might be something I could do, but right now I have not. See here, now I have Evacuate now. I said I was going to remove it, right? And then I was, you know, messing around, and I evacuated, and then I had to evacuate again. And so I'm going to leave it there for the foreseeable future, just to see, you know, how that's, you know, because I've been getting some weird pathing in some of these zones, or, you know, some guy pulling, you know, like a level 125 pulling a massive amount of mobs, and they're going through me, and I'm going to die, right? So there's some crazy stuff going on right now with the current event bonus going on stuff. So, and then I have Dermis of Crystal Wing, rank 2. You'll notice that I have some rank 2 and some non-rank 2. That is because I do not have the faction with the Dream faction and House of Thule to actually get the next tier. And I just need to work on that faction by doing quests, which is where this guy is going next. He's going to be doing the next quest with Hobbs and friends. But the Dermis of Crystal Wing here is 2300 damage absorption with mana regen. I try to keep this up as much as I can. I don't even know if it's up right now. I can't cast it a lot because it's duration. I suck at that. There it is, right up there. So it's a little extra mana regen. I mean, right now we're at 658 mana regen, which isn't much more than we had last time, I don't believe. So it is what it is. Now, when you have the bard playing songs, it's a lot better, but still not there. Then I have the Soothing Harvest, which is a 12,000 mana heal. Just return me 12,000 mana. I have those on a button here, cast 11 and cast Harvest. So when I'm low on mana, I just do that and I get some mana back. It's really nice. And then what is that? I think I had Knowledge Portal. I still have Knowledge Portal here, just because it's convenience. I don't really have any other spells. Like, I only use, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 spells, really? Like, that's really what it is. I have 4 spells, and that's about all I use. Everything else is just experimentation, if you will. So, that's kind of that. The burn changed a little bit, I think. This is the same, I believe. I have Spire here now. Got that at 85, then yeah, the burn's the same. But I do have a robe now that is actually usable. This is the House of Thule tier 4. Now, the right-clicky on this wall of mana creates a shield of mana, which will absorb 3,300 damage when the shield fades. From time or damage, you'll recover mana. So it's kind of nice. It's I don't know what the percentage of mana returned is on that, but it's better than nothing. So, then I have Forceful Rejuvenation in there, and I believe Forceful Rejuvenation will recover Soothing Harvest. I believe that is kind of what that is, the only one it'll recover. I don't believe it will do Twin Cast. So that's something to keep in mind there. Let's see here. Force of Will and the Call of Zul, those are still in the multi-bind, so I have the Concussion thing first, so that'll cast my current level Concussion via AA. and then twin cast, and then energy or electricity now, inferno, and glaciation. So it's kind of like the path that I got going for this. My DPS is about 16k now, give or take, during a twin cast and stuff like that. Now there is another ability we got at level 90. I'm just gonna get some damage on here. I can see the DPS. We got improved twin cast. Now I believe it's an activated ability. I just don't have it activated anywhere. Yeah, so I haven't decided where I want to put this yet. I feel like it's only a burn because it's a 30-minute reuse kind of thing. So it would go in burn 2, but I'm just not sure yet if I want to put it there or have it somewhere where I can maybe even put it in my multi-bind. Now, improved twin cast and twin cast don't stack, and so you kind of lose out if you don't. So I feel like it's more of a burn 2 kind of thing, but we'll see. You can see there we're like 16, 9, 18k DPS. This is during a twin cast, so it kind of skewed a little bit, but I mean the crits alone are just really pushing that up. The critical twin casts don't happen as much, but they do happen now. So this is without any bard songs or anything like that. Moving forward after this, all the 95 videos I'll have completely unbuffed, except for what he can self-buff with, because I've gotten a few comments about people saying that I have more hit points than their level 100 Shadow Knight and stuff like that. So I'll make sure they're unbuffed with only their self buffs for demonstration purposes. But you can see here, I'm getting up to 19, 19k DPS, significantly more than we were doing at 85. So definitely a step up in that direction. I believe my mage, who I would compare this character to, is doing 26k DPS, but I think that's in an actual combat situation. So we'll have to see where he lies in the combat section of the next video. See where he lies with everybody else in full play. I did not have him with that group, getting him to 90. I used my 116 paladin instead of my Shadow Knight, just to speed it up so I could start go back to making the videos. But you can see there I've used 75% of my mana, about 19k DPS over 150 seconds, so it's not too bad. Now if I harvest right at 75k, you can see this is a super long cast time. I used to have that in my multi-bind way back when. It was terrible, but like the way I was playing, it didn't really matter. You can see there full mana after using those, right? It's like a massive mana regain out of that. So definitely don't even probably need them both in there. Probably could wait till like 50 or a lower percent mana on that to do it, but definitely improved for sure. Now let me see here. I think that's everything, right? I have we got some clicky AAs for translocating people, so you can AA translocate instead of memorizing it. You also got AoE, so teleport is AoE translocate, so everybody in the radius will go to their bind point. So that's kind of nice, convenient if you do that kind of thing. Let's see here. The mana burn macro didn't change it. I don't know the cast time. I still haven't figured it out, but I'm assuming it's going to be like a 5-10 second. So there, but I've never used it because I just like it's not one of my always things. So I'm thinking about putting the mana burn as burn 3. So I usually have burn 1, burn 2, burn 3 on a lot of my characters. So I think burn 3 is going to be the mana burn. So that'll be where that makes its its final location on my hotbars, but not 100% sure yet, because that one, it's such a large nuke, right? Now, I mean, it's only like 80 what? Let's see here, let's click it right now. So that's like a 5-second cast, right? Oh my gosh, it crit. All right, so that is 5 million damage. A 5 million damage critical. So, man, that is quite a burn. Yeah, so that will be going to burn 3 for the level 95 video and stuff like that. I've just never cast it, so that's insane how much damage that does. Definitely crazy. And it only took me down to 60% mana. Like, I could immediately harvest back from that and be fine. So that's, it's pretty interesting. We also got an upgrade to Improve Familiar, so it's Improve Familiar 6 or 10 now. So that's Improve Familiar 2 there. So it gives us quite a bit of stats, in all honesty, quite a bit of stats. Plus 70 points of mana regen. Or no, 18 points of mana regen, 70 point resistance, and a bunch of mana. So it's definitely, you want to have that going at all times. You also want to have an, expansion familiar if you can. At level 90, it's not as relevant, I guess, but as we get to 115 plus, that'll be way more relevant and stuff like that. We also got an upgrade to our Etherealist's Unity. That is now casting the next one. I believe I have focus on right now, so it's not going to land on me. But it only casts Shielded Dreams, so I think I have Shielded Dreams rank 2 at this point. So that should be good. Yeah, that's the mage. Now, if we take a look at the logs right from that combat dummy. Oh, not that one. That was the 5 million one. There we go. Here's 2 million damage over, 150 seconds, right? If we do TPS breakdown wizard, so you can kind of see where everything's coming from. My heavy hitter is still Thyrus Woven Electricity. That's why I haven't decided to remove it yet. Now, moving Inferno in there has really upped the damage there. I feel like that is kind of the way to go with these two ethereals with the electricity. I'm just not sure at this point. Now, the procs are way less. We have a proc weapon. I don't believe it procced. Maybe Force of Corruption. Let me see here. So yeah, Sympathetic Force of Corruption, right? So what does that do? Does something. It doesn't say. Force of Magic does 750 damage, but I think I have to be melee for that one to actually trigger. So I haven't meleeed yet. There we go. We triggered one. So definitely, if I were to melee with the guy, when I'm, doing stuff, now it would actually probably benefit to actually get that in there, to get a little bit extra damage out. But I don't think it would be much to worry about, at least at this point. But you can see here the damage. We cast what, 143 spells. Our minimum spell was 503. Our max hit was 84,000, which came from Ethereal Inferno. So that's kind of a nice little thing. Glaciation is doing almost as much damage. Now, I believe it just has lower percentage because it's getting cast less. Yeah, you can see right there. There was 24 Infernos and 18 of those. So that's, where that is. There's more of the electricity going out. So I could possibly change the order of some of these spells and kind of game it a little bit more, but I would really need to test a lot more than I currently am. And I'm going to focus that time more at the 125 range and trying to figure out what the best thing to do there is. But you can see here the different fire and ice nukes doing a decent amount. Now you can see here there was more cryo procs than there was pyro, so that's interesting to me because there was less cast. So that's kind of a little interesting. The Force of Corruption there, that's the sympathetic version proc. That did what, 42 procs of that. So every time I cast a spell, there's a chance that it'll proc something. That's doing a minimum of 500 to 2200. So the average hit on that is 1200 damage. So that's nothing to laugh about, right? I mean, that's 1% of my damage is coming from a proc on my weapon without me doing anything, right? So that's kind of nice. We don't have any luck yet or anything like that. It's not until 110 plus. So once we get that, I think these numbers are really gonna go up, and it's gonna be kind of crazy. I feel I'm still confident that this the wizard is gonna eventually outpace the mage, but I think it's not there yet. And we'll get to compare them compared head to head very soon. Probably at 95, I'll do a head-to-head on the mage and the wizard, just to see, because they should have the same gear at that point, and they should have the same spell set, kind of, you know, at that point, right? My wizard or my mage right now is 91, so she's a little bit higher level, so I think it'd be a little skewed. But there we go. That is how I play my level 90 wizard. I've been excited for this guy. I did it on a total whim, and he is going to actually replace the mage in the group going forward, I think. And then if I feel like it's just not worth it, I'll switch back to the mage and power level it up, so it's back to the same pace. But using personas, like, I'm not losing anything, right? The only thing I lose is the experience that I get from quest completion, right? Like, this is the same character, so it really makes it a little bit more flexible for me to try out different things without having to go back and redo like all the progression of everything up to this point. I don't have to worry about bags. It's all about just that. So it's much more convenient for me to be able to try out some different things and stuff like that. But if you have any questions or comments, I'm playing the wizard absolutely wrong, please let me know. I'm literally making it up as I go along, so I don't have any other information that I'm looking at. So if there's any questions or comments, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.